What is Pakistan going to trade with China? What are you going to give China? Telling Israel that you must stop this bombardment, you must stop this fighting in Gaza, stop. Nobody's telling the Hamas to stop, by the way. My view. Nobody's telling the Hamas to stop. Pakistani media will try to make it out of it. Saudi Arabia is investing billions of dollars in Pakistan. And suddenly all the Pakistanis will be told a lie that, hey, Jai Hind friends, I'm Major Gaurav Arya and you're watching the CHANAKYA Dialogues English. Like this video, subscribe to our channel and don't forget to press the bell icon. There is a video of Farooq Abdullah going around in which he says, let Jammu and Kashmir go to hell. Watch this video first.
Jammu Kashmir Jahannam mein jaye.
Ladies and gentlemen, now he's obviously very peeved, he's upset because of the Supreme Court's orders on Article 370 and supporting the government's decision to abrogate 370 and 35A. Now, Farooq Abdullah is absolutely peeved and he said, let Jammu and Kashmir go to hell. I'll come back to that later, but I want to say what else he said. I want to tell you this. And he said, let Jammu and Kashmir go to hell. They betrayed people. They want to win people's hearts. How do you win that if you do such things to push people farther away? While he was talking to reporters, and then he said, so I'd like to tell Farooq Abdullah that, sir, your family had already pushed Jammu and Kashmir into hell. It's not like Jammu and Kashmir can go to hell. It was already in hell. It has been pulled out of hell and now it will develop. I want to give you a few examples, Mr. Farooq Abdullah. Your father was chief minister. You were chief minister. Your son was chief minister. What did you do for the people of Jammu and Kashmir? There is rampant corruption in Jammu and Kashmir. Rampant corruption. And there is corruption in many parts of India. It's not just in Kashmir, but the kind of corruption that you see in Jammu and Kashmir is mind-boggling. I know because I go there very often. I'd also like to say that this whole extremism and this whole separatism, this entire philosophy came out of Article 370 and 35. You told the people of Jammu and Kashmir that you're different. You told the people of Jammu and Kashmir that you deserve to be different, you're different from the others. How different? Nobody knew. You never told them why they were different. Because there was no why. Because there was no logic to it. All you wanted to tell the people of Jammu and Kashmir is that you're different from the rest of the world, you're different from the rest of India, you deserve to be. Because your father at one point in time was the quote-unquote Prime Minister of J&K. That is what you wanted. To be almost independent. Not with Pakistan or India, almost independent and autonomous sort of Jammu and Kashmir. That is what you and the Muftis always wanted. Today you say Jammu and Kashmir can go to hell. Does Bangalore have 370 and 35A? How has Bangalore developed? Does Noida and Gurgaon, do they have 370 and 35A? Does Mumbai have 370 and 35A? Does the rest of the country have 370 and 35A? What is it that you're saying that, you're not able to make the people happy or, here is this thing. You're not going to win the people. How do you win the people's hearts? I thought the way to go and win the people's hearts was actually to do development for the people. To actually say that, hey, your kids will go to a good school. You'll have a good job. You'll have good medical care. You'll have great infrastructure. You'll have a steady income. I thought that was the way to the people's hearts. Not by telling them that you're separate from everybody, you're separate from the rest of the world. Lies. Blatant lies. Now Kashmir will develop. And it's going to develop without the Abdullahs and without the Muftis. And it's much better off without them. Now, regarding Pakistan, ladies and gentlemen, the Saudi Aramco company, the largest oil company in the world, Aramco, is going to buy 40% stake in major Pakistani oil company. Aramco Executive Vice President of Products and Customers Yasir Mufti and Chief Executive Officer of Lahore-based Gas and Oil Pakistan Limited, Khalid Riaz. They have signed the agreement. The planned acquisition marks Aramco's first entry into the Pakistan fuel retail market, advancing the company's strategy to strengthen its downstream value chain internationally. And this transaction will enable Aramco, one of the world's leading integrated energy and chemical companies, to secure additional outlets for its refined products and further provide new market opportunities. Now, this beautiful document and this beautiful English has been written by tribune.com.pk. This is a Pakistani newspaper. This is why the story is not credible. Right? When you sell the family silver, ladies and gentlemen, when you sell the family silver, You have to make it sound as if, you're gaining out of selling the family's silver. This is not a distress sale. And this is exactly what Tribune.com.pk is doing, this newspaper Tribune, the Pakistani newspaper Tribune. What it is doing is exactly this. It is trying to paint it as if this is a great investment opportunity for Pakistan that Aramco is coming in. No, they are buying 40% of your primary strategic asset. 40%. Oil is a strategic asset. Why do you think the Middle East is always in flames? Why do you think America has fought so many wars in the Middle East? For what? Essentially oil, amongst other things. So, Pakistan must also consider, why are you selling this to a foreign? Aren't there any Pakistanis who are willing to buy it? Isn't there one Pakistani in 250 million of you who is worthy of running your oil companies? Is there nobody with that kind of money who can buy a 40% stake or maybe a conglomerate? Not one Pakistani, but maybe 10 of them or 5 of them together who can buy it? We also sold Air India, but we sold it to the Tatas. Tatas are as Indian as anybody else. We also sell companies mostly. Small little companies, yes. Mergers and acquisition between companies globally, they keep on happening everywhere. Indian companies have been sold to foreign brands and we have bought foreign. Jaguar is a case in point where we bought a foreign company. And there are so many Indian companies that I can name that have been bought over by foreigners. But oil is a strategic asset. Why don't you understand that? Oil is a strategic asset. And what you're doing is, this is disinvestment. Right? You're trying to disinvest. You're trying to sell away 40% of the stake. Why should you do that? But for Pakistanis, the way Pakistani YouTubers and Pakistani media will try to make it out, Saudi Arabia is investing billions of dollars in Pakistan. And suddenly all the Pakistanis will be told a lie that, hey, finally Pakistan is turning the corner. We've reached that point of inflection where we're all going to be very rich and we're going to ride camels and, we'll get down to the camel, get onto our Bugattis and go home. Right? That's the story they're going to tell all the Pakistanis, that finally Saudi Arabia is here and investing. No, you are selling 40% stake of your major strategic asset. But then explaining that to a country that has already sold its motorways, its airports, its seaports, right? When the entire country is for sale, what is 40% in a PSU here? Nothing. All right, and here is the news from the United Nations. And the UN overwhelmingly supports ceasefire in Gaza. So, India has also supported the ceasefire. There are many countries who oppose the ceasefire, some are neutral. But the fact of the matter is, countries are now pressurizing Israel, telling Israel that you must stop this bombardment, you must stop this fighting in Gaza, stop. Nobody's telling the Hamas to stop, by the way. My view. Nobody's telling the Hamas to stop. Nobody's telling the Hezbollah to stop. Nobody's telling Iran to stop funding terror. Nobody's doing that. You can do that with Israel because it's a democratic country. And finally, one day Netanyahu will go back home and seek votes. He has to do that. That is how it is for every democratic country. And I don't understand this at all. I have no understanding of this entire situation, in the sense that why would countries not understand this? That if you have a ceasefire, you are giving a chance, a solid chance to Hamas and Hezbollah to regroup. Why don't you understand that? Why is no country promising peace to Israel? Let us for a minute understand that there is a two-state solution, which I totally oppose. I think this two-state solution is nonsense. There should be one state, Israel, and there should be no Palestine. That is my stated position on the subject. And now, let's discuss and debate this further. So, let's say hypothetically, let's assume that there is a ceasefire. Once there is a ceasefire, what do you think will happen? The Israeli forces will gradually withdraw back into Israel. There will be no Israeli soldier in Gaza. Then what will happen? Think about it. What's going to happen? Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, what exactly will happen. What will happen is this, that Hamas will come. They'll again build tunnels, right? They'll have their infrastructure, their terror infrastructure up and moving. They'll have massive funding from Iran and from Turkey and from Qatar. Massive funding. And they'll be back to attacking Israel. How do you guarantee to Israel that attacks from Hamas will not happen again? Attacks from Hezbollah will not happen again? How do you tell Israel that Iran will no longer interfere in your affairs and will no longer fund? When I say interfere, I mean fund terror, or terrorist bodies like the Hamas and Hezbollah, which then fund or do terrorist activities inside Israel. How do you tell the Israelis that it's no longer going to happen like that? How do you tell the Israelis that? You can't. Which is why you're pressurizing Israel to stop fighting. You're saying ceasefire, ceasefire. You know what you should do if you're really serious about this two-state solution, all right? Have one thing very clear in your mind. If you're really truthful to yourself and you really want this two-state solution, you can't have the Palestinians governing Palestine. These people are incompetent, they are incapable, and they have been able to do zero for their people in 75 years. Even Yasser Arafat, who some Indians at that point in time, I remember saying that he's a great friend of India, Yasser Arafat was a complete lunatic. He was a complete lunatic. He was a terrorist also. Right? This is what I believe. Yasser Arafat and all these, I don't believe even one of these guys here. They have no credibility in my eyes because they are backstabbers of the highest order. All right? They are not faithful. They are not loyal. And now let me tell you, if you're really serious, let's say you have, academically speaking, a two-state solution, which I disagree with. My slogan is simple. From the river to the sea, Israel is all I see. Right? From the river to the sea, Israel is all I see. This is what I say. This is what I believe in. This is what I stand by. But having said that, let us assume for a minute that you have the two-state solution. Is the United Nations willing to put an armed force of at least 300 to 500,000 armed men and women, a multinational force in Palestine? Are they willing? Are they willing to say that this will become international territory and the UN takes responsibility that Israel will not be attacked? Will the United Nations take that responsibility? This Antonio Guterres is a weakling. Whenever I see him, I feel, I shouldn't be saying this because I don't say this on the Chanakya Dialogues ever, but I just want to puke. What a weakling this man is. What a weakling. You need, if you're looking at a two-state solution, which again I'm pointing out I disagree with very strongly, you have to put a multinational force there. You can't allow Hamas. You cannot allow Hamas to operate there. You cannot allow any force which is against Israel to even exist there. And you've got to urgently, ladies and gentlemen, we've got to urgently defang Iran. Iran is the reason why all this is happening. Those mad mullahs in Tehran, they need to be defanged and neutered for good. Because those guys, they are completely crazy lunatics. They're killing young girls who don't want to wear the hijab. That is what these guys are doing. And you want to do a nuclear deal with them? Shame on you. And ladies and gentlemen, the last news of the day is that China agrees to review free trade agreement boost yuan-based trade. So, China will sign an FTA, a free trade agreement with Pakistan, and there will be a yuan-based trade. I don't know if Pakistanis understand trade because they're not good at anything except for terrorism. But what will the Pakistanis give China? This is what I have not understood here. Okay, China's balance of trade with every country is lopsided. With India also, it's lopsided. 70-75% it's in favor of China. Its trade with America is lopsided. Its trade with the European Union is lopsided. So this balance of trade is always in favor of China. China exports more, imports less. Right? But even in case like India, what India is doing is, after India launched Atmanirbhar Bharat, India is saying that right today, there is some dependency on China. There is no doubt that there is some dependency on China today. But tomorrow, we are going to end that dependency. So India says, we are going to go in with supply chain resilience. India says that we are going to do Atmanirbhar Bharat. We are going to make in India. And then India makes in India actually. You start manufacturing Apple phones in India. You start manufacturing, you say that, okay, Elon Musk will come here and we'll start manufacturing Tesla cars. You start manufacturing all brands. In fact, the largest mobile phone factory in the world is in India. You start doing all of that. Today, you may be somewhat dependent on China. Tomorrow, you will not be because you're on the right path. I want to ask the Pakistanis, yuan-based trade, dollar-based trade, ruble-based trade, immaterial. Forget about it for a minute. Put that on the side. Okay? Forget about it. I want to ask the Pakistanis one thing here. Tell me, China will give you everything because China manufactures everything. What are you going to give China? You're talking about a free trade agreement. What is Pakistan going to trade with China? I mean, what are you going to give China? Hafiz Saeed? Masood Azhar? What do you have? I haven't understood this. What do you have? You don't have electricity, because of which your industry has collapsed. You're neck deep in debt. You may not default. Every week it's like, hey, we are defaulting. Oh, we are not. Hey, we are defaulting. Hey, saved by the bell. We are not. This, I'm telling you, this is nothing, absolutely nothing but an exercise in public relations by Pakistan, because they have nothing to offer to any country in the world. Forget about China. China is the manufacturing hub of the world, yeah. China manufactures everything from a pen to an aircraft. It manufactures everything and it supplies everything to the world. What do you think the Pakistanis are going to manufacture and sell to China? All nonsense. Why doesn't any other country sign an FTA with Pakistan? Except for China. Is there any other country willing to sign an FTA with Pakistan? Is there any other country which is willing to invest in Pakistan? None. None. Because the basic rule of investment is return. That is the first thumb rule of investment. ROI, return on investment. Why does China put in money? China's investment in Pakistan is strategic. It has nothing to do with economics. It is all about using Pakistan as a base for further strategic operations. That's all Pakistan is good for. It has nothing to do with either commerce or the economy. Now for question and answers, ladies and gentlemen. This is Gani 999. Sir, my name is Ganesh. Hello, Ganesh ji. Do you really think it's a good idea if India tries to reacquire POK? We can't get the land without the people as well. The Pakistanis, possibly even those in POK, are heavily radicalized and anti-Hindu. Do we really want them in India, even if we get their land? Is making the LOC and international border a viable solution? Thanks and Jai Hind. Ganesh ji, thank you for your question and Jai Hind to you. First of all, yes, getting POK and Gilgit-Baltistan back is a great idea. It's a fantastic idea. It's been ratified by the parliament. There is a, let me call it a promise. There is a promise that India made to itself in 1994, right? In the parliament. We will get POK back. Are the people of POK and Gilgit-Baltistan radicalized? Maybe yes. But that is our territory. We'll deal with those people, right? We'll sort of settle that. There is no problem. But this Akhand Bharat thing, I'm sorry. This is something that I'm very uncomfortable with, and I'm uncomfortable because I don't want 25 crore lunatics in India here. I don't want them. Sorry. If you give me an option of taking Pakistani land minus the people, the land of Karachi, the land of Lahore, the land of Islamabad, the land of Hyderabad, Sindh, complete area of Pakistan, without people, I'm happy to take that land. With people, please go. And sometimes, what happens in Pakistan, I almost feel grateful for partition here. A lot of people feel very sad. Oh, partition. No, don't feel sad. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. Right? I mean, it was a partition based on IQ, yeah? It was not a partition based on religion. It was a partition based on the intelligence quotient of a human being. The high IQ people stayed here. The low IQ people went there. I mean, there are lunatics there. Look at Pakistan. Look at those people, yeah? Exploding in mosques. Exploding in shopping malls. They're crazy. Do you want those kind of people to carry an Indian passport? We are respected all over. Because of those 25 crores, these 140 crore will suffer. So we don't want any sort of thing in future. Hello, Major. This is user XT1JJ3RK7C. Is this your name or your password? Hello, Major. China, as Pakistan, seems a fickle nation, but US propaganda has made it an unsavory dragon on paper. Does wealth give you strength or Indian fighting spirit? I have not understood your question, sir. I haven't understood your question. Everything, fighting spirit gives you strength. Your wealth also gives you strength because you buy weapons from your wealth. If you have money, you can buy weapons. If you don't have money, you can't buy weapons. But I'm sorry, I'm trying to answer it the best I can. I have not understood your question, sir. User XT1JJ3RK7C. Zabardast. Then the third question is innocent gangster. Bhai. Bro wala hai ye. Innocent gangster. What do you think about Agniveer? Any improvements needed in this section, Major? Yeah, see, Agniveer is something that the army is going ahead with, any change will bring sort of difficulties and adjustment. Yeah, people will object. More so in the army, which is a tradition-based organization which takes great pride in its ethos and DNA, which it should, which every Fauji does, which I do. All the senior veterans who objected against Agniveer, a lot of them very senior veterans who have objected against Agniveer, let me tell you why they were objecting. They were objecting from a place of love. You have to understand their sentiments. 40 years of service, 30 years of service in the army. They've given their blood, they've given their sweat, they've given up family life. They've not seen their family for years together. They've not celebrated Diwali, Dashera, Eid, Holi, Christmas with their families. Yeah. They've just been with the army. So any change will hit them. And even if they were objecting, we must respect their opinion because that opinion comes from a place of intense love. Right? Agniveer will improve as we go by. The facilities given to Agniveers will improve. I'm sure they will. And over a period of time, this will stabilize, but it will take time. It's not going to happen within the next 1 or 2 years. It will take a lot of time, but it will stabilize. That is my hope. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you like this video, press the like button, subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to press the bell icon. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram, Bharat Mata Ki Jai.